who do I call them? Service producers from various points of the world. So these people may be in another country collecting data from Kenyans, then they get away with it just because it's not within the ambit of the act and you cannot get redress locally. That's also another factor.
I have a follow-up question. Who is responsible? Sorry for interrupting you, Tony. Who is responsible? Is this the Ministry of ICT or who is responsible?
So the Data Protection Commission is under the executive. It's a body under the executive. They've tried to state in the act, they state that it shall be an independent body, but being under the executive, I don't see whether that's really completely independent. Because as you know, in the Cambridge Analytica case, whereby they mentioned Kenya, one of the people who are being targeted was the current president. They alleged that he also used Cambridge Analytica to his advantage to manipulate people's decision-making during the elections. However, this has never been proved yet. They are mere allegations. I should say that as a disclaimer.
Thank you. So I have a question. In the recent past, we've seen MPs and people in the public figure having their photos, like let's say nudes, in the media, or yes. So do they have a recourse in court if you share your private photos? Do you have a recourse?
Once your private photos are shared, you can have recourse because you know whomever you share the private photos with. So you'll have recourse against them because that is sharing your own personal data. But in the event that you posted them for the public to see, then I don't think you'll have any recourse from that because it is already public information. It cannot be categorized as personal data.
These people, sorry.
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay, these people called, what are they called? Akina Edgar Obare. I'm sorry, I can't remember. What's the name we give to them?
Yeah.
Tea masters, or yes.
Bloggers.
Yes, bloggers. So people send to them their issues and then they post them. So is it legal to be a blogger like Edgar? And we have seen in the recent past that he's been sued. He's been having court cases because of the nature of his job. So what do you think what do you have to say about that?
In such an instance, I believe it's where people share their personal data. In such a case, the media law will have to come into place. And I believe one of the reasons he uses to justify what he does is the doctrine of media freedom, whereby they believe they are expressing themselves. And in the event that any of the statements is maybe defamatory, they are able to back it up with, it's the truth, and here's the person who offered the information. And truth is a defense to a defamation case. So in such an instance, I wouldn't categorize it as a data controller. I wouldn't say he's a data controller per se, due to the nature of the personal data that he's getting from a third party, because he's even getting it from a third party. He's not getting it from the actual party. It's not the actual party saying that I did this, this, and this. In most instances, it's always another person who's sharing the information. So he goes in as would I call it as a journalist? Yeah, he shares the information as a journalist, not as a data controller.
But in the event the information is false, should he apologize to?
No, in the event that the information is false, then one of the mitigating factors would be to offer an apology in such a case. So he can offer an apology, even undo the tweet or undo the story. And once he does that also, if there was any damage suffered, like in the case of Victor Wanyama, and I remember he was one of the people who sued him, in such a case, then if there was substantial damage that was done and the court feels that indeed there was damage done, then he can pay damages for the same.
Thank you. Anyone with a question? We have 9 minutes to go. Anyone with a question or concern? Meanwhile, I can state that Sharia Clinic has a YouTube channel. You can find it on YouTube. Just search Sharia Clinic, and you'll be able to see what we have done before. Last week we talked about public participation in relation to government projects. So you can find it on YouTube. Please like, subscribe, and share if you like our content. We'll also post this on YouTube. Yes, Lucy has a question, please. It's on the chat.
Okay, let me check it out. Can one sue Facebook with regard to the Cambridge Analytica case? Yes, you may. In the event that you're able to prove they did acquire your personal information and share it. In such an instance, then you can sue them. Because being a data controller, there's a set of obligations that comes with it. And it being a company based in the States, then the GDPR will come into play and it will protect you. And you'll use that as the grounds to which you bring the data controller to the court or the requisite authority that you wish. You can also summon them to have them release data that they shared about you, because they are expected to keep a record of the same. I believe that answers Lucy's question.
I asked 2 questions. I don't know if you've seen in the chat. It's one.
Oh, the first one had answered it. In fact, I think this is a follow-up question to the same.
Okay, thank you. There's this issue. We've been seeing Facebook being sued several times. Could you talk about that? And also you can talk about data scientists and the role they play. Data scientists. The
data scientists are, when I mentioned the who are they called? The data controllers and the data officer. That's when I said each company or business with the enactment of the Data Protection Act needs to have somebody called a data protection officer who will be conducting assessments of the data that companies collect. So that's the important role they play in a company, being a company that collects data. And I said it doesn't have to be just any big company. It can be anyone who's collecting data, including a real estate company or even your landlord who collects data from you, including your numbers, your emails. In the event that you find it being used improperly, and you know that through to your phone. Also, you mentioned the issue of Facebook. Facebook, once the Cambridge Analytica thing happened, they reviewed their policies to ensure that they are more now private and inclusive of the GDPR, and they became GDPR compliant. It's only that people are hesitant to post the information over there, but you can still post it. They are GDPR compliant. That information does not go to third parties.
Thank you. There's someone with a question. John, it's on the chat. Please answer.
Oh, John is asking how often these meets are. So as the Sharia Clinic, we usually have them every week. And if you have a topic, you can reach out to Angie or myself, and we can discuss the topic. We can organize how we discuss the topic. Also, we plan on having this topic discussed at a larger venue, the Kenya School of Law in August. We shall be announcing the dates, because there's need for civic education, like you found in this discussion. There's need for educating the public on data control and data protection. Thank you, Angie.
Thank you. Any other question? Anyone? We have 5 minutes to 9. We are stopping at 9. Anyone with any question, concern, anything? This is free legal advice you're getting. I've told you, when he becomes an advocate, he will be charging you. So get as much as you can. There is a question from user 1. It's on the chat.
Oh, user 1 is saying the book Permanent Record by Edward Snowden is also very informative. We shall also look on that Permanent Record by, perhaps user 1, you could share some of the insights from the book if you've read it.
You can unmute and share. This is an open space for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Can user 1 hear us?
should be able to. But as we wait for him, any questions? Okay, now, Rogers, if you are to advise a member of the public, I think I keep repeating this because we are not only talking to lawyers, we're also talking to the members of the public. Yeah, so how would you advise people when they're dealing with, hackers? Maybe you can talk about hackers, kidogo, or just how to ensure our protection in the digital space, on Twitter, on Facebook, on TikTok, all those platforms. How do we ensure our and even
data
when
is protected?
Even when we download apps on Play Store, how do we ensure that our data still remains intact? Thank you.
So firstly, you can use, like I said, you can disable your cookies and cache. Disabling the cookies and cache helps. Also, Chrome has the option to disable tracking, whereby you can select and say you no longer want your cookies to be tracked, because it is the tracking that enables the advertisers, whereby you search for something and you find it on another site being advertised to you. So disabling the cookies disables the tracking. A second option, like I said, using a virtual private network, a VPN. It's not 100% foolproof, but it's also one of the factors. Maybe I could show you some of the data that leaks once you log on. Can you guys see my screen?
Are you the host?
Oh, kindly make me a host so that I can show you some of the things that are targeted when you visit any website. Can I now share? Oh, there it is. So some of the data that the websites use to profile you, you can check on whatleaks.com. Whatleaks.com shows you all the data that leaks once you log on to a website. And this is the data that is used to profile you. It's loading.
We have 2 minutes to 9, so you can maybe it can be your last.
All right.
What are you talking about? What leaks?
What leaks? Anyway, I don't know why it's taking too long to respond, but this is the website you can use to check. Once you log on to any website, just click whatleaks.com. It will list for you all the things that leak, including WebRTC, your DNS. And I don't want to get into tech jargon, but this can help you. If you start this page, once you log on to once you open a browser, you check it out, it will show you what is leaking. It will even tell you your cookies and cache are being tracked. And in such an instance, you can go to your browser and clear the cookies and cache and disable tracking. Another option, like I said, you can use a VPN to ensure there is pseudonymity online. Like, the person who discovered Bitcoin, up to date, he has never been known. And the reason is because of pseudonymity, whereby you use a different persona, you mask your personal data, including your identity, your location, which is not illegal within the Act. You are allowed to do so if you feel it is infringing upon your right of privacy, just to log on and have your cookies shared. And with that, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. It was a really fruitful discussion, and I hope to see you next time.
Thank you, Rogers.
Back to you, Angie.
Thank you. Thank you, Rogers, for the elaborate discussion, the presentation. It was wonderful. And I hope that next Saturday, people will also join in. I think we'll have another topic. So feel free. These are just clinics concerning the law. And we are hoping that we'll be able to reach as many people as possible. This is just, and you can find us on YouTube, Sharia Clinic. So with that, I want to thank each one of you for attending the session. You'll find the recording on YouTube. Thank you. Have a good night. Have a good evening. See you next time.
Have a good evening too.
So I'll stop the recording.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, everyone. You're free to leave. Bye.
Sawa sawa.
Haya.